Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This is a game from semi-finals of the Airthings Masters, and this is a game played between Hikaru Nakamura and Wesley So. And this is actually an Armageddon game, and Hikaru only wants a draw in this position and he'll be able to win it, but Wesley has to win in this game. So let's see how they do it. Wesley starts with e4, Hikaru plays e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, knight to f6, the two knights defense, and Wesley goes for d3 in this position. Bishop to c5, we transpose into the Juko piano. Wesley plays c3, a6, and both plays castles. Wesley goes for rook to e1, d6, bishop to b3, and Hikaru moves the bishop back as well. And it was in this move that both the players actually realized that there is not supposed to be any increment, as it's an Armageddon game. And both players were shaking their head, as definitely you don't want to get disturbed in such a crucial game as this one. And they actually had to restart again. Start the same way with e4, e5, knight f3, knight to c6, and Hikaru was hoping that Wesley would play fairly and they would go into the same opening as they did. But actually Wesley went for bishop to g5, going for the Rulo pace, and Hikaru was just shaking his head in disgust. But okay, he goes on and he plays knight to f6, d3, bishop to c5, and we see a trade, bishop captures, pawn captures, and Wesley just simply castles. And queen to d6, knight bd2, and now the knight is definitely jumping on that b3 square, attacking that bishop, and Hikaru doesn't allow it. Hikaru plays bishop to e6, b3, a5, and now we know that a4 is coming, so Wesley stops it. Wesley plays a4, knight d7, and as Hikaru keeps his options open for both castling king side and queen side, but now Wesley just simply jumps in with the knight. Knight to g5, Hikaru plays f6, and now we see a trade. Knight captures, queen captures, and Wesley goes for queen to h5 check. Hikaru blocks with the queen, but Wesley cannot trade queens as it's an Armageddon game and he's in a must-win situation. So Wesley goes back, queen to g4, knight to f8, and Wesley just goes for knight to c4 in this position. Hikaru gets that knight to the central square as well. Knight to e6, king to h1, and Hikaru here starts playing aggressively and he goes for h5. Wesley moves the queen back, queen to d1, and Hikaru starts pushing g5 in this position. Hikaru only wants a draw to win the Armageddon game, but definitely after that incident he would very much like to win the game against Wesley. So Wesley goes for bishop to e3, b6, c3, and rook to d8, and Wesley just goes queen to c2, and Hikaru just keeps on pushing in this position and he goes for h4. Wesley just plays rook to d1, and Hikaru boldly in this position castles with his king side being open, and we see a trade, bishop captures, knight captures, and Wesley gets a nice central thrust with d4. We see a trade, e captures, c captures, and knight goes back to e6, and now the d4 pawn is threatened, so Wesley defends with queen to c3, and Hikaru goes for the very nice c5. And how you want to play this is you want to push d5 in this position, and once knight goes to this very nice central outpost with d4, you want to play knight to e6, and once Hikaru pushes h3 in this position, you can even go for a nice exchange sacrifice with rook captures, c captures, and queen captures, and definitely f3 is coming and knight will definitely go to f5, and you'll get this very nice pawn chain with knight on f5. That would be compensation enough for the sacrifice exchange. But Wesley doesn't like it, and Wesley instead goes for d captures on c5, knight captures, but now as he has released the tension in the center, this will definitely transpose to a drawn endgame. And Wesley just goes for f3 in this position and Hikaru pushes h3. Wesley goes for g3 in this position, and now he has definitely weakened the g2 square, and that will be used by Hikaru, and Hikaru goes for queen to e6. And Wesley just plays king to g1, but as Hikaru wants to checkmate Wesley, he goes for f5, opening lines against the white king. What you don't want to do is just capture that pawn and allow Hikaru to jump to e2, but that's exactly what Wesley does. Wesley captures, e captures, and instead of recapturing, Hikaru just quickly jumps to queen to e2. Now checkmate is being threatened, and there are two ways to stop it, and the optimum way is just to go for rook to d2, but after the rook gets traded off with queen captures, knight captures, you transpose into the drawn endgame, and a draw means loss to Wesley. So instead he tries to mix it up and he goes for knight to e3, but Hikaru just quickly plays rook to d8. If he's able to eliminate the knight, the checkmate is being threatened. Wesley does the only thing he can in this position and he goes for queen to c4 check, and the queens get traded off. Queen captures, knight captures, and Hikaru just captures the pawn on f5. Knight, rook captures, Wesley goes for g4, pushing the rook back, rook to f7, and Wesley goes for rook to d5, trying to capture that g5 pawn, but Hikaru just defends, rook to g7, and we see knight captures on a5 in this position. Because if Hikaru captures, then Wesley will capture here and he'll go into a favorable endgame. But Hikaru doesn't go for it. Hikaru goes for rook to e2 in this position, and Wesley just plays knight to c6, and Hikaru just captures the pawn on b3. Knight captures on b3, and Wesley just plays a5 in this position, trying to create some chances, but Hikaru doesn't go for anything. Hikaru just plays b captures on a5, and Wesley just repeats moves: rook to f2, rook to even check, rook to f1, rook to e2, and rook to f2, again rook to even check, to f1, and rook to e2. It was on this move, on move 41, that both the players agreed to a draw. That means that Hikaru won the Armageddon, and definitely what a brilliant victory for Hikaru. So yeah, next game will be the one to watch out for, as we'll get a showdown between Hikaru Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen, and definitely that would be a one to watch. So thank you all for watching. I'll be coming up with another amazing game from chessboard or from the Airthings Masters, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you all.